to the life of Brooklyn. So today's video, I'm really just gonna dive right into the topic because I've already recorded this video, and while I was editing it, I just did not like the way that it was turning out. So I decided to just sit down and re-record the whole video again, start fresh, because this video is important. It is mandatory for my channel. It is one of the reasons behind starting my channel. So I'm really just going to get right into today's video. So today's video is about mental health and mental illness. So I have my notebook here. I have notes on my notebook, but for the most part I'll be talking off the top of my head because this is something that I deal with and struggle with on a daily basis. So let's talk about what is mental health and mental illness. Mental illness is a medical condition that disrupts a person's thoughts, emotions, relationships, and daily functioning. Big emphasis on the daily functioning, okay? So some causes of mental health would be a mix of genetics, biological, psychosocial, and environmental factors. And some ways to reduce mental health would be practicing self-care, seeking help, and spotting the signs early. Now that I've read basically like the definitions and everything, I'm going to get into some more stuff that I researched, and I will be leaving the links down below so you can go look into the articles more deeper yourself if you would like to do more research on it. But these are just some notes that I jotted down from the website that I looked onto about how mental health is basically perceived in the Black community. So some of the facts that I read on the website stated that African Americans sometimes experience more severe forms of mental health due to unmet needs and other barriers. Blacks are 10% more likely to experience serious psychological distress. Most blacks misunderstands what it means to have a mental illness. The lack of knowledge leads to believing it is a personal weakness, aka a personal problem. Problems identifying symptoms, which leads to downplaying it. So to me that means that the Black community isn't really educated on what mental health really is. They believe it's all a mind game, it's all in your head. It's something that could easily go away, when in reality it is not that simple. It is not that simple at all. Mental illness is definitely real. It's nothing made up in your head, and it affects their day-to-day functioning. So people with mental illnesses, they literally go through daily struggles, literally every single day. Even if it's something small, it may affect them. You never know. So the website gave suggestions about what they feel that Black people tend to do when they encounter any mental illness. So we tend to rely on faith, rely on family for support, but do not hesitate to seek professional help. You know, above all things, do not hesitate to seek professional help. 30% Black adults with mental illnesses receive treatments each year compared to the average 43%. Women are more likely to experience and mention physical symptoms such as like body aches and pains when talking about like depression. And men are more likely to receive a misdiagnosis. Y'all heard that? Men are more likely to receive a misdiagnosis of schizophrenia when expressing symptoms related to mood disorder or PTSD. Now that I got like the basic facts out the way, the Google facts and all that stuff, now I'm kind of just going to get into my journey of, you know, having a mental illness, having multiple mental illnesses, and, you know, my journey with mental health, period. So the first time that I was admitted into a hospital, I was in the 7th grade, so I was around 11 to 12, and they first diagnosed me with depression. Now, the first time I went to the hospital, it was definitely against my will. I had no idea that I was going to the hospital until I was on my way to the hospital. So I possibly will be making a story time on my hospital experiences, because since I was first admitted into the hospital, I have been admitted about 3 or 4 times. Now, the last time I voluntarily went on my own, I chose, it was my decision to go. But all the other times in attempts, I was definitely not with none of that shit. I was a minor. I felt like my mom and my parents were just trying to say something is wrong with me and only me. And I didn't really feel like it was helping me and that I really needed to be in a hospital. I didn't feel like I needed to be on medication. I just felt like there was nothing wrong with me. There was absolutely nothing wrong with me at all. Little did I know I was wrong. So like I said, I'll probably just make a whole nother story time on my hospital experiences. So anyway, just to get back into this video, I know I'll be running off track, but so the first time that I was hospitalized, they officially diagnosed me with depression. However, when I was in the psych ward, one of the nurses, she informed me that my depression may turn into bipolarness as I tend to grow older and grow up. And so she was correct about me growing older. My mental illness would grow, yes, but it turning into bipolarness, no. I have not been medically diagnosed with bipolarness. So last time that I admitted myself into the hospital, they kind of picked up where they left off with my diagnosis. However, my depression turned into major depression disorder. I ended up having anxiety, insomnia, and PTSD. So those are all the things that I am medically diagnosed with and that I have been medically treated for. Have I completed the treatments? No, but I'm going to get into that. So right now, I kind of just want to say the symptoms for everything that I have been medically diagnosed with, just one by one, going down the line. And I'm going to start with my major depression disorder. So some of the symptoms of major depression disorder would be general discontent, guilt, hopelessness, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, mood swings or sadness, agitation, excessive crying, irritability, restlessness, social isolation, early awakening, excess sleepiness, insomnia, anxiety, fatigue, loss of appetite, lack of concentration, slowness in activity, suicidal thoughts, weight shifts constantly, overthinking. So when it comes to major depression, I check off all the boxes of the symptoms. I definitely have like a lack of motivation for a lot. I have a lack of interest. I have a complete loss of appetite. If y'all would see how little I eat, it makes no sense. If I don't have drugs in my system, I'm not going to eat a lot. It's 2 bites and I'm full. That's just what it turned out to be. So the next major diagnosis symptoms that I'm going to get into would be my PTSD. So some symptoms of PTSD include hostility, hypervigilance, self-destructive behavior, flashbacks, fear, severe anxiety or mistrust and loneliness, emotional detachment or unwanted thoughts. When it comes to PTSD, I check off all the boxes of the symptoms. I get my PTSD from childhood experiences. I get my PTSD from social experiences. But my PTSD was mainly triggered after my college experience. Of course, y'all know I'm going to get into that. So that's where my PTSD grew from and came from. And more recently, as of in today's society, I definitely get my PTSD from police brutality and the treatment of black people in America. When it comes to my anxiety, some of the symptoms that I experience for anxiety include excessive worrying, feeling of impending doom, nausea, palpitations, trembling, and stress. So anxiety doesn't necessarily mean you always have like anxiety attacks. Anxiety means you're always like on edge. You're always on the lookout. When I'm walking down the street, I look back 20 times in 1 second because I don't trust nobody. I don't trust my surroundings. I don't trust anything, nobody. And the last mental illness symptoms that I'm going to get into would be insomnia. So some of the symptoms of insomnia would be hard time falling asleep and staying asleep, not well rested, a lack of concentration, headaches, depression, irritability, and sleep difficulty. So I when it comes to insomnia, I definitely check off all the boxes. So I have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. I definitely, no matter how late I go to sleep, I always wake up early. So that is definitely a part of my insomnia, and feeling like I'm not well rested. I don't get enough hours of sleep. Okay, so now I want to talk about my experience with mental illness and being a young black female growing up in today's society. So when I was first diagnosed, the only person who saw my symptoms was my mom. She was the main one pushing for me to go to a hospital, actually admitted me in my first hospital, and she was the only one who truly saw that there was something deeper wrong with me. Now at the time, like I previously stated, I thought there was nothing wrong with me. So my other family members thought that there was nothing wrong with me. They felt like mom was tripping. Like, we don't know what my mama was doing. You ain't take none of your other kids to the hospital. Why you had to take her to the hospital? I know that's how I felt. So they were really against it when I was first diagnosed. But I believe as my journey started to keep growing, they started to kind of see it more. But still, they don't truly understand what I go through on a daily basis. I feel like they don't know my warning signs, and to me that's sad because I've been dealing with mental illnesses for about 10 years now. Like I stated, I was first admitted when I was about 11 or 12. I'm about to be 21 in a couple more days. So I just feel like that's an issue, that's a problem for me to be dealing with something for 10 years. How is it that my family members can't spot my signs? How is it that they don't know when I'm not okay? How is it that they can't see that mental illness is something real and it is not fake, it is not nothing to play with? I think oftentimes, like I said, black people, I feel like black people are really, really uneducated when it comes to mental illnesses. My experience as being a young black female and having a mental illness, it has been hard. It has been really hard. It has not been easy on me or for me. A lot of people around me, friends, family, whoever, they tend to think it's something in my head. Well, let me not put my friends in that category because, bitch, they know I'm crazy. They know I am fucking crazy, okay? I don't know. I guess it's kind of just been hard for me to deal with my mental illness because a lot of people around me just don't quite understand the depths of my mental illness. They don't truly see my triggers. They don't know my warning signs. And so they don't really know how to help me when I do go into these depressive states or the PTSD states or any state that I can go into. They don't really know how to help me. So I tend to self-isolate. I tend to try to fix the problem on my own, which is why I'm currently not on no medicine, because I felt like I was going through a lot in my life and I just needed a break from everything. I needed a break from the world, from my responsibilities. So I took it upon myself to stop taking my medicine, and I self-medicated heavily. So I always fall back on self-medicating because I feel like that is the best thing for me. In all reality, it is truly detrimental to my mental health. I'm going to tell you why self-medicating is detrimental to your mental health, because you're only masking the problem. The problem doesn't go away. You're trying to feel numb, and it doesn't fix the issue, because when the drugs go out, when the substances go out, all the problems come back, all the feelings come back. And that's what I've been mainly experiencing lately. So as of lately, I have stopped smoking weed for the past 2 weeks because I'm currently getting ready to move, and I kind of wanted to give myself like a tolerance break. So I have not smoked weed these past 2 weeks as much as I normally would, and honestly these past couple of days I have not smoked it at all. Went straight cold turkey on the blunts. That's gonna end in about 4 more days because I cannot take it. I have been going insane. every 2 seconds I want to bust out into tears. I want to break something. When I get into these moods, I have to cause harm to something, and so to avoid causing harm to myself, I tend to get real destructive and just have the urge to just break anything. Just feel that release coming out my body. Feel that I have to feel like I have power in some sense, because when my mental illness comes in, I feel powerless. I feel like I have no power. When the drugs run out, that's when the crazy kick in. No, I'm just playing. But I feel like my experience with just being black and having a mental illness it has been really hard. It's been really hard because, yes, I have support, but they don't know how to truly support me. Yes, I have, just to kind of sum this video all up, I wanted to just make this video just to show you that being black and having a mental illness is real. You will have good days, you will have bad days, you will have good moments, you will have bad moments. It can all happen at the same time. So a few days ago, I actually had a breakdown. I'm going to insert the clip because I was going to make it a video on its own, but I never picked back up the camera to continue recording. So I'm going to insert the clip now. But yeah, I just really wanted to show y'all what it's like having a mental illness and being black with a mental illness. It is real. It is serious. It is not a game. So my advice to you would to be check on your friends. Check on your friends at all times. If you have a friend who was once suicidal, best believe that they're still suicidal. They just know how to mask it. They just know how to hide it. Check on those friends. If you have a friend who isolates themselves a lot, check on that friend. If you have a friend that's calling you a lot, still check on that friend, because you never know. Maybe they just need to talk. Maybe they just need a listening ear. You never know what somebody is going through, and a person who is truly dealing with a mental illness will not tell you what they're going through when they're going through it. They'll try to keep it to themselves, and they'll try to fix the problem on their own, when in reality, mental illness is not a problem that can be fixed alone. You have to have support. You have to have professional help. You have to have positivity around you so you can gain your true peace and happiness. So I think that's where I would leave this video off at. I know I was kind of rambling a lot, so hopefully I got some good footage that I can just edit and make a bomb-ass video. But this will not be the last conversation we have about mental illness. Like I said, I made my channel based around mental illness because I just made a post myself a couple days ago that said everybody wants to be a YouTuber, but what does your life have to offer me? So I'm here to say my life has to offer you what it is like living with a mental illness as a young black female. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Go ahead, subscribe if you want to. Y'all know I really don't care. I made this channel more so for my journey, my healing. Like I said, these videos are so I can go back and self-reflect and see how far I've came and how far I still have to go. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Brooklyn out this bitch. Welcome to my motherfucking life.